Hi, my name is Eliza Blanchard. I'm a retired Unitarian Universalist minister, and I'm a member of the First Parish in Brookline. We're here in the space that I chose, which is Pierce Hall, which was originally built in 1825 as the town hall. The town hall had been always in the sanctuary of the First Parish in Brookline, but the church, the people in town outgrew the space. And so the town had this building. It became the high school. Girls upstairs, boys downstairs, which made the boys unhappy because downstairs is still to this day dark and dank. A lot of people are a little bit frightened of being in a church. This congregation has a 309-year-old history. The building, the current building the church is in, a beautiful arts and crafts building, it dates from 1896, so it's not that old, but they say we have a few ghosts. As I've delved into the history of this place as a way to connect more deeply to this congregation and what it's meant to this community over the centuries, I've met quite a few characters. So when I'm in this church alone, which I am occasionally, doing research or just tidying up, I feel held by generations of people, many of whom played a significant role in American history from the very beginning, from colonial days through the Revolution. They used to muster right up the hill on what was the town green to prepare for the Revolutionary War, once they realized that they were going to have to fight for independence. Another issue that was very vital to the country and to this congregation in particular was the issue of enslavement. There were about 40% of people in town who owned another human being, and that became an increasingly tense issue over the years. So the character who I want to introduce you to is one of the ghosts here who I enjoy the company of, is a woman named Elizabeth Peabody. If you're not familiar with New England history, Peabodys, Cabots, Lowells, Searses, they were all part of a group of people who settled here who benefited greatly from trade, from, in many cases, enslavement and other things, other enterprises. But most of the people in Brookline were farmers in the early days, and gradually merchants moved out of Boston for the fresh air and beautiful landscape. Elizabeth Peabody, I don't know if you can see her here, she looks pretty fierce in her older years, was the first Sunday school teacher hired by this congregation. Previously, the minister had taught the children Sunday school. She was a rabid revolutionary fangirl. She loved Lafayette, General Lafayette. And when he came back to the United States in 1826-27 for his tour to see what had become of the revolutionaries and their ideas that he had fought for, she couldn't wait to meet him, and she vowed she was going to kiss his hand. And so as a young girl, not the way she's depicted here, she stood under a tree very near here in the hot, hot early summer sun for hours because she knew the route he was going to travel coming back from Cambridge or Boston to the place he was staying in Roxbury. And when his carriage approached, she had then been joined by some of her friends. She reached into the carriage window and touched his hand. And he got out of the carriage, and she did kiss his hand, and he kissed hers, and then he kissed all of her friends' hands. And she was so excited. You can imagine her saying, "I'm not going to wash my hand ever," that she had met this hero of hers who had fought for freedom, who had spoken so eloquently about freedom and carried it back to Europe, that she said to her friends, we are going to meet every day on this day for the rest of our lives, and in honor of this wonderful event that we had just, been part of. And they did for a few summers, but she grew up and grew older, grew away. But she wrote letters to her friends around the anniversary time for much of her life. And she indeed became a very fervent abolitionist and spoke all over the states in service to the cause. So she's one of the many ghosts that I enjoy thinking about when I'm in this space.